I'm a Danish electrician, and today I did an electrical check in a house. And that may sound boring, but it sure wasn't, because pretty much everything was wrong. I wear my shorts today because, you know, it's becoming a little bit more summer vibe in Denmark, and the first thing I saw that we had these junction boxes up here that were missing lids. But the first test I need to do was up in the circuit breaker, so I turned off all of the power, and with all of the power gone, I removed the cover, and well, it's not bad looking. It's not perfect either, but it's at least not bad. First thing to say is the RCD is an older model and is recommended to be changed to a new one. The circuit breaker cover had also been cut a little bit wrong where the cables entered the circuit breaker. They cut a little bit more than they needed to do, and also they had removed the insulation a little bit too soon. But then it was time to grab the tester and start doing the different measurements. One of the first tests I did was the insulation test. I don't know if they're called the same in English, but either way, we looked for some numbers that were above the number of 1, and well, we got numbers higher than the number 1. How technical is this now, guys? These were the groups with 3 phases, and now I had to measure on the groups with only 1 phase and neutral. Therefore, you remove the magnets because they can zap you if you don't remove them, because you're sending out a voltage when you're doing these measurements. Either way, I tested the other things and they also worked, and it was time to do the ground test right here. Now, the earth/ground test takes forever to measure, but in the end we got a number of 32, and it's meant to be lower than 1666. That is what I call lower. Then it's time to test the RCD. Although it's an older model, we still need to make sure that it actually works. And basically, you put a few different voltage through the tester. I don't know what's happened. It basically clicks a little bit, and in the end you get an okay or not okay test. And in the end, I also do a little test by pressing the button right here, and that also worked. Then it was time to check the installation in the house itself, and the first thing I saw is these wires here. Now, to say what these wires are, it's basically what you use to hang up a lamp. And basically, the guy who lived here before had used these wrong cables to wire up a few plugs around the house. Once more, these cables are meant for lights and not for plugs, and you're meant to use installation cables for plugs. So yeah, that's all one massive mistake. And of course, it has to be fixed. I also saw this right here, and this is just a plug that is, well, I don't know if it's burnt, melted, or what's going on, but something is not working correctly. So I grabbed a new plug, and yeah, we need to fix that because we can't have a hazard. And I think that it was a little bit of a fire hazard. I don't know, it looked really weird. Either way, I fixed it up. All right, jumping on to a new plug. This is actually a brand new plug, just made a few weeks before, or a few days before. I don't know, to be honest, but it's very sad to see that, yeah, it's made wrong. Basically, you're supposed to have a white thing in here that holds the cable, because this here is a plaster wall or whatever, and yeah, basically you have to keep the cable stuck in there, and yeah, that wasn't anything. Either way, moving on to the next plug, we removed the outside chingamichangle. I have no idea what they're called in English, but yeah, I pulled it out, and yeah, once again, we are missing these white things. Someone can't just smash their hand through the wall and pull this cable out, which it's not meant to do. It's a weird rule, I know, but yeah, it needed to be fixed. Then we had an old plug here, and yeah, I can't say anything was wrong here. Yeah, just a nice little check. And then downstairs we had these junction boxes, and once more, they need a lid. I also found this bad boy. Not sure what's happened here, but I don't know, I guess that's correct. But this, on the other hand, is not correct at all. There are holes you're meant to use and not make your own. Jumped over in the kitchen and I saw this plug here. The guy who lived here before had used 2 long screws, and basically they had torn the entire thing apart. Another thing that's wrong with this here is that, yeah, you're not meant to see these 2 Torx screws that you can see inside. They're meant to be on the outside of this older model. Jumped into the next plug, and guess what we found here? Oof, we found some lamp wire or whatever it's called, and yeah, it once more gave power to some plugs, so yep, that has to be fixed. Jumped into another room, and guess what we found? We found another light cable that was giving power to a plug. Once again, that's wrong, and next to it, would you look at that, is that a little bit of insulation I can see? Yep, that is not correct. And this here's the plug where the power was taken from, and yep, the cable was just hanging here like a cow. That's a Formula 1 reference, if anyone knows that. Yep, either way, this here is also wrong. There's nothing holding these cables down. They can just fly out if they get winked suddenly. And this here just have a random hole up there. That's not correct either. Basically, I could go on and on. There was a ton of different things I found, but yeah, enjoy your day.